Welcome back to the channel. My name is Steven. I'm a pharmacist and I own 54 units of real estate. So today I want to talk about a concept called new levels, new devils. So what this kind of means is as you move up in life, whether that's career, wealth, status, with it comes new devils. So as you elevate yourself, new issues and problems always come up. So that's why I kind of believe now that no matter how much money you have, no matter how much wealth or status or fame you built, you just create new devils that goes along with it. And that's why I kind of believe that life is suffering, because even like celebrities, for example, they have a lot of wealth, they have a lot of fame, but now they don't have privacy. Like imagine LeBron James or Stephen Curry going out and about, and maybe you need security always following you because everyone knows who you are, and you can't just go out and go grocery shopping or go out with your family to a store or restaurant without people coming up to you asking for an autograph or a photo. So it's kind of like a blessing and a curse, right? Like new levels, new devils. And a lot of people who become rich and famous, they fall into depression, they hit rock bottom, and you would think that they have everything they ever wanted. But I think a kind of a quote that I heard before, which I might butcher, is when you have no money, you think money will solve all the problems, but once you have all the money in the world, nothing can solve your problem, and you realize it's just all mental in yourself, right? I think this was from Will Smith, probably butchered it completely, but when Will Smith was coming up, he had no money, and he just thought, well, once I have money, my life will get better. And once you have all the money in the world, which he does now, he realizes that, wow, money there's no hopium, right? There's no solution. You have to face your inner demons. And that's what I mean by new levels, new devils. And I want to tie this into real estate, because when I first got started in real estate, my devil was I didn't own enough real estate. I felt behind. I felt like I didn't really know much about real estate investing. I thought that, real estate would make you super wealthy. So my devil was that I didn't own enough real estate. So that's why I felt like I had a gun to my head and I had to get to 100 units. Well, I eventually learned about real estate, scaled over an 8-year period and hit 90 units of real estate. But now my devil changed. My devil changed to I bought, some bad real estate with my mobile home park and had bad property management, bad area, losing money every month. And now my issue became I have too much assets and, bad assets at that point. So that became my new devil. I elevated to a new level of 90 units, and my new devil was I had a bad deal, and I had to deal with the stress of trying to sell this bad deal. So after I got rid of that mobile home park and elevated to the next level, where I'm currently at, my new devil was, this portfolio wasn't what I thought it'd be. I thought I'd be stronger in terms of my cash flow. I thought that because I own properties in Oklahoma, and they're cheaper, and you get more rents, but you also have a lot more expenses with it. So my new level or devil became managing your expenses, and maybe realizing that, hey, that C-class apartment complex that you bought, that's 1960s, maybe it doesn't cash flow as much as you thought because you significantly underestimated expenses, because you have plumbing issues, you have HVAC issues, you have tenant turnover, and when tenants turn over, you have to fix up the unit and it's vacant again. So now the new devil is, well, what do I do with this real estate? Like obviously I bought it right, I renovated it, raised the value, but the new devil is now I have to either 1031 exchange this deal to cash in the equity to trade up to a newer asset, or I just can sell it, pay Uncle Sam, pay depreciation recapture, and pay taxes. So now it's like, if I sell it, I have to pay, the new devil is Uncle Sam. Or if I sell it and do 1031 exchange, well, my new devil is finding another good deal. So it's quite interesting. Like, you know, when you kind of look back and like I said, if I were to tell myself 5 years ago or 6 years ago that I'd own 54 units of real estate, you know, people automatically assume that, like, wow, you made it, you're wealthy, you're rich, but you're asset rich, cash poor. And, you know, you're only truly rich once you offload a property or really optimize your real estate portfolio. So it takes 10 years. Like, a lot of people assume that somebody owns, you know, 50 units of real estate, a lot of real estate, is doing very well, can ride yachts, fly first class, but that's not the case, right? At least not in the first 10 years. Maybe after the real estate has marinated, after it's stabilized, after you optimized it and, you know, really tinkered it to fit yourself. At that point, maybe, right? Like, maybe after I've, you know, maybe I sold my 20 unit and built 2 ADUs cash and sold another one, paid off my primary, and maybe sell another one and you know, take debt off the table. At that point, maybe it would be optimized, and you know, it's really not as good as we think it is. So kind of the moral of the story is, whatever level you're trying to reach, once you kind of attain it, it's not as good as you thought it would be, number one. And number two is that once you attain this new level, you're gonna have new devils that goes with it, right? So, like, it's kind of that constant, like, moving your goalpost, and you're never, like, happy, you're never satisfied. And I feel like I'm kind of, it's easy to fall in that trap. So that's why I'm trying to, like, really slow down. And travel is a really great way for me to slow down, if I'm being honest, and really look back and be like, wow, like, look at all you've achieved. You know, like, I should be grateful that I, you know, have 54 units of real estate, and, you know, they're not underwater, and I can obviously make some moves to make it a little bit better, but at least I have the option to making those moves instead of being completely desperate and selling at a loss. I know I can sell these properties for at least break even, if not make some money, and you know, have a job that, you know, despite me griping about it here and there, like, you know, 2 years ago I would have killed for this job. And, you know, for the house that I'm living in, yes, I have gripes about it, but like I said, once again, you know, 2 years ago I would be so grateful to have this type of house to live in. So it's quite funny how fast the human mind adapts to new luxuries, and that's how I become entitled, or we become entitled, right? Like, what used to be a luxury to me became normal, right? Like, before, I used to drive, you know, 80 miles each way to Lancaster through the mountains, just to have a job. And, you know, for me, the thought of only driving, you know, 12 miles for 1 hour was sounded amazing. But once I've gotten used to driving, you know, whatever, 12 miles, I'm like, commute could be even easier. Or once I got a job that pays me when I want to get paid, I just said, well, why not get a job that's remote? And once you're remote, you're like, oh, like, you know, well, why can't my boss be nicer? So there's always something that you can focus on that's, like, not going the way that you expect it to go. So knowing that, it's just, like, kind of makes me realize that, hey, maybe the next level that I've been daydreaming about isn't as good as I thought it'd be. And in a weird way, it's freeing, because now I know that, okay, well, right now, let's say job-wise, if I had a remote job, I'd have my dream job. But then once I get a remote job, you have new devils. What's the new devils? Maybe you hate being cooped at home. Maybe they track your activity and it's annoying, or maybe you have to work at weird hours. So there's always, like, pros with the cons. There's always the good, the bad. And knowing that, it's kind of freeing now that, like, it kind of makes me appreciate what I have today, and, like, reminding me to take a step back to be like, you know what, Steven, you got it pretty good. Like, if you were to elevate yourself, there's gonna be a new devil. right? I'm sure like once I hit my goal of like retirement and I retire, I might have new devils of like, like maybe I'll feel more stressed traveling because I don't make as much money as I used to, or maybe I get so bored because there's nothing to do, there's no one to hang out with, or I just don't feel like, you know, I'm losing my consistent stream of income. So like I know whenever I retire, what's the new devil after that? So, you know, once again, you know, all this to say is like, I'm not saying to not improve and like better yourself and build wealth, but it's like you want to do all that, but also like enjoy and be grateful for the present, right? Like I always tell Christine, and she tells me that one day I'm gonna look back and I'm gonna miss my W-2 job, believe it or not, right? It's gonna, you know, there's some pros and cons, but one day I'm gonna look back and be like, yeah, I miss having a W-2 job. Maybe it'd be nice to have a W-2 job to get away from my kids. Maybe I don't want to be around my kids all the time, right? So it's quite interesting, and that's why a lot of people work part-time, because you can have the best of both worlds, where, you know, you get to spend more time with your family, but at the same time you get to escape your kids a little bit and not talk to like a 2-year-old all the time. So like I said, new levels, new devils, and that's why I'm trying to really be present and really reframe how I do things. Like, you know what, Steven, like, don't beat yourself up that you don't have enough real estate, or that your real estate's not performing like other people's real estate portfolios. Like, I see a lot of people who, like Dion, who I follow, owns, 18, 20 units and grosses 40K, and he nets 20K a month, and he self-manages all his portfolio. And I'm just like, damn, I wish I bought real estate like that. And he bought a lot of duplexes and self-manages and just scaled over time and didn't leverage. So, you know, I said, damn, I gross about 45K a month, but I don't net 20K. So I just said, well, what am I doing wrong? And I'm beating myself up. But maybe my portfolio hasn't had time to marinate. Maybe my portfolio hasn't had time to, you know, settle in and to optimize. So, you know, don't beat yourself up. Like, everyone has their own journey. Everyone has their own pace. So it's okay. It's okay. Like, maybe for me, I need to, like I said, I gotta sell. I gotta repivot my pieces. I got to reallocate it and make moves and pivots. So, you know, everyone has a different journey, but I know that eventually I'll get there. Eventually I'll get there to me retiring, to me having a portfolio that allows me to live my lifestyle. And you know what I realized on top of all this is I don't need as much money as I think I do. I don't need as much money to live a good life. I don't need as much money to probably take care of my future kids. Because my wife and I, we live very humbly, we live very frugally, and we're very intentional how we spend our money. So with that being said, I don't think there's a way we can lose as long as we just continue going, continue grinding at that pace. So like I said, new levels, new devils. So just be present and enjoy what you have. And, you know, optimize, of course, with that. So, you know, like I said, as you build wealth, you kind of like elevate yourself and get more realizations of yourself. But you don't have these self-realizations until you've built wealth and you really experience things that you thought would be great, but didn't pan out to be as great as you thought it would be. So, you know, for me, like, I thought more units meant more cash flow, but that's not the case. I thought that, you know, apartments is more cash flow, and that's not always the case. You know, I thought having a mobile home park was affordable housing and cash flow, cash cows. Not always the case, right? But I wouldn't have learned it until I experienced it myself and went through all that pain and tribulations and stress and learning curve. So the key is you got to just learn from your mistake, and then, you know, pivot and make adjustments accordingly and make realizations and you know, and be okay to pivot. And I know that maybe one day I'm going to pivot again. So nothing too crazy, And just be open-minded. Be open-minded to making pivots to your real estate portfolio. I once was a buy and hold investor. Never thought I'd sell, but now I'm like, wow, maybe it does make sense to sell this asset. Or I never thought I'd be a YouTuber, and now behold, I have 10,000 subscribers. And even, like you said, with YouTube, like new levels, new devils, right? Like I moved up in YouTube, and now it becomes, you have so much opportunity, you have to pick and choose which opportunity makes sense for you. Or maybe, with more fame and notoriety becomes more haters, right? Like all the people hate you and hate on you, and you're putting yourself out there. So, like I said, new levels, new devils. So whatever I would kill to do, I know now, when I achieve it, I'm going to have a certain new devil that goes with it, right? So if I retire, there's going to be a new devil that comes with retirement. I know for sure. Or if you leave your W-2 job to do a business, there's another devil that comes with your business. So, so with all that being said, like, embrace the devil you have today. Embrace the suck of today. And don't let it get to you, because whenever you elevate yourself, there's going to be a new devil, right? Like for example, like I want to use Tom Brady as an example, because I just listened to a game and he was broadcasting it. But like he won one Super Bowl, and then once he won one, he wants two. Then once you win two, you want to win the most of all time. And once he won the most of all time, it's like, well, can I win it outside the Patriots? And he won it with the Buccaneers without Belichick. So, and then once he's done that, it's like, well, how can you keep on going and elevate yourself? But it comes at a cost, right? He got divorced, and might have costed him his family. So, like I said, new levels, new devils. You have to take the good with the bad. So knowing that, it's kind of freeing. Like I said, it's very, very spiritual. And I'm not saying do nothing, but like I'm saying that, like, just know whatever you're obsessing over, whatever you're fantasizing over, isn't as good as you think it is, right? Like you could look at someone like Brandon Turner, who was a syndicator, built up a personal brand on Bigger Pockets for the past 10 years. But I know that a lot of his funds aren't doing well right now, probably not paying out his investors. And, he's probably dealing with a lot of, like, his reputation's getting hurt because his syndications that he vetted aren't performing up to par. So now he has a different devil that he has to deal with. And maybe, it's hurting his reputation a little bit of, when the assets don't perform. So, now he's dealing with a different devil. But like you said, 5-10 years ago, if you were to tell himself that he would get, whatever 15K units or whatever he's at, he'd be happy and retired. But he's not. So, like I said, it's quite interesting to see yourself elevate. So you just have to know it comes with that. Like, know that when you get whatever your goal is, it comes at a weight. Like Michael Phelps, he is the most decorated Olympic athlete in the world, and he hit rock bottom. He was depressed because he lost his purpose. He lost what he was chasing. So that's why for me, I'm trying to, like, balance all the above, take the good days with the bad days. Like, I just know that, like, hey, right now I feel like it's bad, but it'll get better. So really enjoy the present, and, like, don't stress yourself out. Like, like, at the end of the day, at least in real estate, money solves most problems. It just sucks that you're losing money. But if money solves most problems, and you just have to live and learn and reassess your portfolio and make pivots accordingly. And that's why, like, for me, I'm getting stress test, and it's making me realize that, I probably do need to pay off my primary residence to secure me not having a mortgage. Probably do have to, build ADUs, but once I build those 2 ADUs, I'm sure there'll be new devils that come with it, like managing renovations, managing the contractor. It's not passive at all. And then now I have to self-manage, 2 more rentals, and maybe deal with more conflict. Because I have 3 tenants on one lot now, right? I have a backyard house, a main house, and, a garage unit. They all have their separate entrances, their own separate washer and dryers. So they don't really interface with each other, but hey, maybe one tenant is noisy and has a party and annoys the other ones, right? That is what comes of it. Or you start having tenants, tattling each other, right? Oh, this one doesn't do this one doesn't do this. So like I said, new levels, new devils. And that's just the cost of growth and doing business. So why I wanted to make this video was just as a reminder that, hey, like as you elevate yourself, as you rise up, your corporate ladder, as you get more real estate, as you build more net worth, as you get more subscribers in YouTube, with it comes a devil that you're unaware of, and it's going to slap you in the face one day. So knowing that, just know that whatever level you want to aim towards isn't going to feel as good as you think it was. Like right now, I always thought, oh, if I hit 10,000 subscribers, I'd feel amazing. I hit 10,000, I feel the same. And I'm like, oh, but if I had 50,000, I'd be better. And I hit 50,000, I'll probably feel the same. So that's what I'm saying. You have to set your expectations, know going in what to expect. Don't expect it to be better than what your current situation is, and just enjoy the now, right? So I'm just trying to enjoy the job now, enjoy the suck now, and enjoy my real estate now, because maybe it'll get worse, maybe it'll get better. So we'll see. So anyways, kind of a rant, been a little bit more spiritual post vacation, because very zen, got to step away from the grind and reflect and reassess, and basically see a different lifestyle in Vietnam. So hopefully you found value from this mode, and why I'm sharing this with you is because as you strive to get to where I'm at, most of you, I want you to know that it's not going to be as good as you think it is. So that's the name of the game. It's not going to be as good as you think it is, and there'll be different devils, right? You'll feel the same for the most part, because that's the way the human brain is wired. So anyways, hopefully you found value. Let me know what questions you have. If you want to join my school community on a free trial, if you want coaching, mentorship, if you want a steady landlord insurance quote just to save some money potentially, if you want to send me an email, click on my link tree. It has all my links. Otherwise, please like, comment, subscribe, and hope to see you next one. Thank you so much.